Major General Evelyn James, a decorated Army officer, had decided to spend her rare day off doing something she hadn't done in years, shopping for herself at 42. Evelyn was a towering figure of discipline, and Grace, her short-cropped natural hair stray with hints of silver dressed in a simple black tracksuit and sneakers. She blended in with the Saturday crowd at Westfield Mall. Evelyn had served her country for over 2 decades, leading troops in some of the world's most dangerous regions. She had faced down insurgents, negotiated peace treaties, and commanded thousands of soldiers. But today she just wanted to find a good pair of running shoes and maybe grab a smoothie afterward. As she browsed through a display of sneakers at a high-end store, Evelyn noticed a few people glancing her way. She was used to it. Her commanding presence often made people curious, but something about these looks felt different. She shrugged it off and continued browsing. Unbeknownst to Evelyn, Officer Troy Beckett had just walked into the mall. Troy was a mid-level cop in his late 30s, with a reputation for being quick to judge and even quicker to draw his weapon. He had received numerous complaints for racial profiling, but his precinct often swept them under the rug. Today, he was off-duty wearing jeans and a plain white shirt, but his badge and holstered gun were clipped visibly to his belt. As Troy strolled past the sneaker store, his eyes landed on Evelyn. Something about her, perhaps her confident stance or the way she moved, made him suspicious to him. She didn't fit the image of someone shopping at an upscale mall. Troy lingered near the entrance, pretending to check his phone while keeping an eye on Evelyn. His mind raced with assumptions. Was she casing the store? Did she have stolen credit cards? Evelyn, oblivious to his scrutiny, picked out a pair of sneakers and walked to the register. The young cashier smiled nervously as he rang her up. Evelyn handed over her credit card, and as she waited for the transaction to process, she noticed Troy standing outside staring at her. She felt a flicker of unease, but brushed it aside as Evelyn stepped out of the store with her bag. Troy blocked her path. "Excuse me, ma'am," he set his tone. "Cold, I need to ask you a few questions." Evelyn raised an eyebrow. "Is there a problem, officer? You look suspicious in there," Troy said, his hand resting on the grip of his gun. "Mind telling me what you were doing?" Evelyn's patience, honed by years of dealing with tense situations, was already wearing thin. "I was buying shoes," she said, holding up her bag. "Is that a crime now?" Troy's eyes narrowed. "Let me see your ID." "Why?" Evelyn asked, her voice calm but firm. "Have I done something wrong?" Troy's hand tightened on his gun. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be." At this moment, Evelyn realized this wasn't about her actions. It was about her skin color. Her heart sank, but she stood her ground, officer. She said, "I'm going to ask you to step back. I've done nothing wrong, and I won't be treated like a criminal for shopping." But Troy wasn't listening. He was already reaching for his gun. Troy drew his gun, aiming it directly at Evelyn. If you're enjoying this story and want to hear more, hit that subscribe button now. Don't miss out. The crowded mall seemed to freeze as people turned to see what was happening. Mothers pulled their children close, and store employees peered nervously from behind counters. Evelyn's heart pounded, but she didn't. Panic years of military training kicked in. She raised her hand slowly, her eyes locked on Troy's, put the bag down. Troy barked. Evelyn dropped the shopping bag to the floor. "Officer, you're making a mistake," she said, her voice steady. "Don't tell me what I'm doing," Troy snapped. "Get on the ground." Evelyn hesitated. Getting on the ground would mean total submission, and she wasn't about to give this man that satisfaction, officer. She said, "I'm Major General Evelyn James of the United States Army. I suggest you lower your weapon for a moment." Troy faltered. The authority in her voice was undeniable, but his prejudice clouded his judgment. "Yeah, right," he scoffed. "Get on the ground, or ale, or you'll what a voice." Interrupted, a young man stepped forward from the crowd holding up his phone. He had been recording the entire interaction. "She just said she's a general man. You're pointing a gun at a hero." Troy's face turned red. "Stay out of this." He barked, but the damage was done. More people pulled out their phones recording the scene. Evelyn saw her chance officer Beckett. She said, reading his name from his badge, "You're about to make the biggest mistake of your career. Stand down." Troy hesitated, his grip on the gun wavering. The murmurs of the crowd grew louder. "Do you even know who you're pointing that at?" Someone shouted at that moment. Mall security arrived. 2 guards rushed over their faces, pale as they took in the scene. "What's going on here?" One of them asked. Troy didn't answer, but Evelyn did. "This officer drew his gun on me for no reason. She said I'd like to speak to your supervisor within minutes." The mall manager arrived, followed by a police captain who had been shopping nearby. The captain, a middle-aged black woman named Denise Harper, took one look at Evelyn and gasped, "General James," she said, rushing forward. "What's going on here?" Evelyn gave a brief explanation, her voice calm but firm. Captain Harper turned to Troy, her expression thunderous. "Put your weapon away, Officer Beckett," she said. Troy hesitated, but she now. Harper snapped reluctantly. Troy holstered his gun. Harper turned to Evelyn. "I am so sorry, General. This is unacceptable." Evelyn nodded. "It is, and I expect it to be addressed." The fallout was swift. Videos of the incident went viral, sparking outrage across the country. News outlets picked up the story, and Troy's history of racial profiling came under scrutiny within a week. Troy was suspended without pay, pending an investigation. Evelyn, meanwhile, received an outpouring of support from the public and her peers in the military. In an interview, Evelyn said, "This isn't just about me. It's about the countless others who don't have the rank or the platform to stand up for themselves. This has to stop." The story became a rallying cry for justice, highlighting the dangers of prejudice and the importance of accountability. Share your thoughts on this story in the comments section, and do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more updates on this story and more.